Good morning, Omaha. My name is Katie Breidenbach, and today we are interviewing Sonja Scott. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. I love the colors that we have going on
Oh, thank you.
today.
Got to bring something bright.
Yes, you do. You do. And I think we're actually going to have some sun today, so we're happy about that.
Yeah.
But Sonja, what brings you on today?
Yeah, well, really excited to be here and just
Yeah.
kind of chat with you. I'm building something new that I'm really excited about. It's called the Open Table, and it's a peer advisory group for people that are going into transitions. You know, maybe they're transitioning careers, maybe they're building something on their own, or they're just tired of kind of like going at work by themselves,
Yeah.
and would like to find their people in a professionally curated setting. They're builders, they're board of advisors, a group of people that they can continue to grow professionally with.
Very cool. How did you come up with the name Open Table?
Well, I was just kind of thinking about it, and I was like, what would denote the sense of bringing people together around a shared setting? You know, a lot of times we meet at tables, you know, around food or drinks or things like that. I usually do it after work hours. So
Yeah.
the open table, I think, is just conveys that sense.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's great about it is the group is intended to bring diverse thoughts and diverse opinions. It's particularly intended to have different people from different types of careers together. So I wanted to have that sense of openness.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like the diversity aspect is like so important because we all do so many different things and build so many different types of businesses and different ways of networking. But at the end of the day, we all really do feel the same thing, or we have the same goal, which is like connectedness and wanting to make the world better.
Right.
So I love that.
Yeah.
How did you kind of decide? Obviously, there's always a backstory. There's a story
For
behind
sure.
the story.
Yes.
So what was the story behind yours that decided, like, I want to start this? Like, it's usually like wanting something for that younger version of us or that future
Right.
version of us. So tell a little bit about your story that led you here.
Honestly, it was creating something for the current current version of me.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to build something like this, but I really felt that it was a need and something that I couldn't find as I looked in the Omaha community and just in general. So I decided to go out and build it.
I love it.
Yeah. So I've worked kind of in the intersection of process and people for a really long time. I work in product, and I also have done team and organizational coaching.
Yeah.
So I've worked in spaces where I bring people together and I help them have meaningful conversations in a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
And that's just something I've always done. But what I was noticing personally is I've worked remotely for the past 6 years,
Yeah.
right? So ever since COVID happened, yeah, exactly. They sent us home, and I've just never gone back. And while there's a lot of great things I love about remote work, what I felt I was missing over time is I was really missing the connections that I built, the friendships, the sense of community, the meaningful conversations that you get when you when you have a workspace where you actually see people in person.
Yeah.
So I was sensing that this was lacking, and as we started to become more digital as a society, you know, more people work remotely, more people are finding themselves in spaces where they're transitioning between different jobs. There's been a lot of that happening, unfortunately, in the tech sector where I work, you know, just layoffs and things like that. Like, people are feeling kind of isolated a little bit.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I've been noticing is as we start to shift more towards integrating AI in the way that we work, that is amplifying, honestly, that same feeling, right? Where it's like what a human used to do, and you used to have conversations building something with them. In a lot of cases, you may not be talking to a human anymore. You may be able to augment some of that work with AI. So while we've been able to go faster, you know, and be more efficient, we've lost some of the creativity and the sense of meaning that makes work exciting.
Absolutely.
And gives you a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, you know what, I really need to find this group or see if there's a way to build that community for myself. And as I started to look around in Omaha, you know, there's a lot of spaces to build like networking. You know, there's a lot of networking opportunities where you can talk to people, but it tends to be kind of transactional.
Yeah.
And then there's also spaces where you can hear content, and content is great, you know, but it definitely doesn't build that group if you're looking for it. So that was kind of where I felt the need, and I've been kind of thinking through this for a little while, and I decided, you know what, honestly, I think the time is right. There's never any perfect time to do a thing, so I just decided to go out and create this and see if it resonates.
I love when you mentioned there's like never a perfect time. People always kind of wait to think like,
Yes.
okay, when's going to be my moment? When's going to be my moment? Or when should I do this? And it's really like, you really have to be the person to go out and just do it.
Yes.
And so I love that and respect that so much, because so many people are just waiting. And I feel like if you wait, that idea is just going to go to the next person and go to the next person. And it's scary, but
Right.
it's like you're using the gifts that, you know,
Right.
you were given. And if you don't use those, it's just a waste.
Mm-hmm.
And creating depth, like you said, I feel like a lot of the word transactional does come up a lot with networking. So you're like, okay, how can you help me? How can you
Yes.
help me? And sometimes people just like want to show up as they are. And I
Right.
think that's so important with what you're creating with Open Table. Like the art of gathering is so
Mm-hmm.
unique and so special. So what you're doing is really awesome.
Thank you.
How is how do people get involved in Open Table, or how can they is it an app? Is it a Facebook group? Tell us a little bit more of the logistics on that.
Sure, yeah. So it's brand new. I'm just kind of creating it right now. I've had our first event a couple weeks ago, and it went really well with just a group of people that came together and found it organically, and they want to come back. So I took the feedback of the group, and we're going to be meeting every 2 weeks. Right now, I'm still trying to establish like the group of people that want to be a part of founding this, right? So it's open and available for people that want to join this first subset. I have a website called theopentable.com. So there's like hyphens between the words, but it's called theopentable.com.
Is there an app called Open Table too, like where you
There
make reservations?
is, but that's for reservations.
Yes,
for
I know.
restaurants,
I
yeah.
have it sometimes and I
Yeah.
use it, but I think the dashes will help people get to you.
And it's the Open Table, but yeah.
The Open Table. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I also have events, and I can share that link to the next event that we have on the 16th.
Awesome. Where's that going to be at?
So it's going to be held at Kincaidor Brewing
Cool.
in
Yeah.
the Exarban area from 6 to 8 p.m.
Is there? Can they just show up as they are?
Yeah, so the idea is we really just want people to come out, you know, people that feel this need, just come out, show up, come prepared to have conversations about something that you're individually struggling with, that you're building, you know, information that you're seeing, that you're kind of noodling on. I have a light framework for some, you know, different topics that we'll be talking about every week to build on that concept of creating your board of advisors. You know, we each have different problems we're struggling with, and so there's a lot of that peer advisory that goes into it. But yeah, just really show up as you are. Be open, be curious, be willing to be yourself.
Curiosity is key, I would say, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then for you also, when you're doing Open Table, what is something, when you say there's going to be a different topic, how do you kind of decide those topics?
Well, right now, I really want to bring in the consensus of the group. I'm primarily there just to hold the space, right? That's what I've done for a living. That's what I love to do. And that's basically helping create a space where people feel seen, heard, and understood.
Perfect.
Right? And so I'm not the smartest person in the room. It's not about me. It's just about creating a space where each individual can be seen and understood. So yeah, I think that's kind of the concept there.
How can people reach you and get a hold of you, Sonja Scott? I know you gave the opportunity to go to the website, The Open Table, but how can people reach you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook or Instagram. So
Perfect.
yeah, all of the socials.
Yeah. Any last words before we end? You know, this is something where I feel like this is going to be huge. You're going to grow this into something where people are actually going to feel connected, and that's really important.
Yeah.
So what's some last words that you would give either to future you or younger you?
What would I tell future me or younger me? Honestly, I would give that version of myself the same advice I continue to give myself right now, and it's just about like stepping out into the unknown. You know, as I'm doing this right now, I have to fight my perfectionism tendencies.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's so much. You think that's why I started my own podcast, because I'm like, you just have to show up as you are. And it's like, you don't think you're being perfectionist, but you just want it because it's your heart and soul to be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And I heard somebody say one time that readiness is not a destination, it's a choice. And I felt like that is exactly what I need to hear, exactly what I have to remind myself of is like, you know, as I step into this idea, I see that this is a need, it's something that is very timely, that I'm feeling right now, other people are feeling right now. And it's going to evolve with time, and that's the beauty of it. So
the journey.
What I would tell myself in the past is, you know what, you're never going to be ready, just do it, just step out, just try something. And that's what I continue to remind myself of now.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's so great to meet you.
You too.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's so important. And thank you for giving the platform to have people come and build something together. It can be very lonely sometimes. So having a community to have that support and even just getting to know new people in different phases of your life during the pivots and the transitional seasons is so important. So
definitely. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You bet. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. We are so grateful to have this wonderful community in Omaha, to have a space to talk about the things that we are building. So if you're building something, please reach out. We would love to have you. Bye.